Hey guys, it's Josh. Thanks for visiting my YouTube channel. I decided to create this channel in order to document projects I've worked on and to show people what you can do with programming. So this first video is going to be on a project that I spent a week on last December. It's called the Moving Average Heatmap. For those who are unfamiliar, a moving average is just the average price of something over a specified time span. A common predictor in the stock market is when the 50-day moving average goes above the 200-day moving average. A lot of people take this as an indication to buy a stock. This moving average strategy is called playing the 200-day against the 50-day. But what if you found that you would have made even more money if you had played the 200-day against the 50, 30, and 10-day in combination? This is called a moving average system. Moving average systems are when you play a group of moving average numbers against another group of moving average numbers. So if you take the numbers that form Team A and subtract the numbers that form Team B, a positive result means to buy the stock and a negative result means to sell the stock. Here's how my moving average program came to be. When I graduated high school, I spent some time helping my dad search for the best moving average system to play on the S&P 500 index. We did this by using a program his friend wrote in the 1980s that would allow a user to enter stock data and a moving average system and would tell the user whether or not the system was long, meaning to buy, or short, meaning to sell at any given data point. It then required the user to add up all the wins and losses in order to figure out the profit or loss for that moving average system. This could take days. At that time, I knew nothing about programming, but I was pretty good at spreadsheets. So I was able to build a spreadsheet that could do all the calculations for us and could tell us the profit or loss in the matter of minutes. Days to minutes is a big improvement, but I later wrote programs that could check hundreds of moving average systems per second and use genetic algorithms in order to find the best moving average systems. But more on that in another video. Regardless of whether it was a spreadsheet or a more advanced program telling us the answer, there was still a very big problem. The systems with the biggest grand totals could still have streaks of years where they lost money. This is unacceptable if you plan to play your moving average system full time. We needed a program that would allow us to quickly look and ensure that there were no bad streaks in our moving average system. That's when I built the Heatmap program. This Heatmap program produces a table where each row represents a year, each column represents a moving average system, and the cells are colored red if you lost money or green if you made money. This allowed us to quickly look at a moving average system and tell if there were any bad streaks. Now for a demo.
Alright, so here we are with the moving average heat map program. Pretty sure this microphone is junk, so bear with me. So I'm going to open up a file as outputted by Yahoo Finance. They have a historical data feature where you can download historical data in comma separated values. So I'm just gonna go ahead and click this one. It's a S&P 500 historical data file, and I think it starts in January of 2000 and goes to sometime in 2018. Okay, yep, January 2000 until December 10, 2018 it looks like. Make sure I set my start date to the 1st. Yeah, so you can see it chose the 3rd because the 1st is a weekend day, but that's fine too. So this program, it'll set these date buckets. Currently they're set to years, but you can go ahead and you can set them to months if you like. If you want to see what your system did on any given month, you can do that. But for this demo, I'm just going to keep it at years. Yeah, you can also do weeks or days, but that doesn't really tell you a whole lot with these moving average systems. Those are a little better if you're doing rather than daily data, if you had like 5 or 20 minute or hourly data. But anyways, a couple of different moving average types you can do with this program. You can do the standard moving average as I explained earlier. There's another one that seems to work a little better. It's one that my dad created. My dad's name is Ralph. And I like to call it a split style moving average. And so what that is, it compares the most recent half of some data to the half of the data before it. So if you're going to do a 10-day split moving average, you're going to compare the most recent 5-day moving average to the 5-day before it. So you're going to take that most recent 5-day moving average and subtract the 5-day average before it. So if the most recent 5-day is 1,000 and the 5-day before it is 900, you'll subtract 900 from 1,000, you'll get positive 100, and because that number is positive, that means you would buy the stock. And there's a couple other things this program can do. I won't really get into in this demo, but it can compute a moving average system that puts more weight on the system if you multiply by the volume. So it'll do a normal moving average multiplied by the volume, and it'll also do that split style, Ralph style moving average times the volume. But I'm going to demo this Ralph's one because that's the one that seems to make the most money anyways. So let's go ahead and see what a few different moving average systems did. So we can just do just the number 2, which would be on any given day, you're going to look at that day versus the day before it to decide whether or not you are long or short for the upcoming day. So let's look at that. Okay, so you can see fairly consistent. Only had 3 years that weren't red, and so if you would have played that for those 18 years, you would have lost 3,000 points. And 1 point, if you're playing like S&P 500 E-mini contracts, 1 point is $50. So you can multiply that 3,098 times 50 to see how much money you would have lost. Or you could have been playing against this system. You could have been doing exactly the opposite of what it told you to do, in which case you would have made that much money. So let's go through and just kind of see what a few different numbers would have done. We'll just do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Okay, so there's a few numbers. You can see column E that holds the 10-day split moving average. That one is the most consistent single number that I know of. You can see it only has 3 years where it didn't do what the rest of the years did. So this is a good reverse system. I mean, you could play against this, and in those 18 years, you would have made 3,400 points, which is $50 a point. And this program doesn't show it, although it does know the answer under the covers. This column A, this would have made a lot more trades than column E, because the number 2 is a lot smaller number than the number 10. Remember, the number 10, that's a 10-day moving average. Number 2 is a 2-day moving average. And so that would have probably had you making, I don't know, thousands of trades, I would guess, maybe 2,000-3,000 trades over 18 years. And this 10-day split moving average, I would just guess is probably somewhere in the hundreds as far as how many trades you were making. Still not that great, but you can see how this program is a really nice way to quickly know whether or not a moving average system that you have is being consistent or not. So let's go ahead and do a little more of a complex system. Let's try having the number 10 in there a couple times, and then let's try having the number 20 with it. So you can see I changed the system A, and the A column then updated. Let's just goof around and try some other things. Let's try, what if we had the number 6 and the number 10 and then the number, let's do 16 and then maybe 20. So you can see I changed B, and the B column updated. So I mean, this is doing thousands and thousands of calculations for you, and then boom, it's just giving you the grand total. Like, what if I would have played that for the last 18 years? And you can do some other kind of neat things. Sorry, I'm holding the mic with one hand and typing with the other. Let's do 10 versus 20. So that'll update C. So you see, if you played the 10-day split moving average against the 20-day split moving average, you would have made 494 points, which is really, really terrible. I mean, you'd want to be somewhere over 3,000 in 18 years to have it be worth your while, like, at all. Let's see. I mean, you can do other things too. I mean, you can decide to play only when they're agreeing with each other. So you can do 10 conf, which is short for confirm with. 10 conf 20. So this will update the D column. So there, now you're only playing when the 10-day split moving average agrees or is positive at the same time as the number 20, or negative at the same time as the number 20. So that's less garbage of a system. What are some of the other things you can do? A versus B. Oh yeah, so you can look at one system and decide I wanted to add like one other number. So I can say A, which uses all the numbers from the A system, and then I can add another number to it, like 4, and this will all go in the E column. So let's see that. So there, that's if I would have just added the number 4 to the A system. I'm just gonna hover over this and see what else I can do. It's been so long since I've even used this program. Oh, so here you can see I have the number 10 in there 3 times. There's a shorthand for that, which is just 10 times 3. And then you can reuse A somewhere else, like here. And then you can do something like 20. There, so that's 10 3 times alongside the number 20. Let's try 10 4 times. You'll see that if I update the system A, because it's used in column B, that will update as well. So I'll go ahead and do 10 times 4. Enter. I didn't make a change. Let's try something bigger. 10 times 8. Yeah, apparently that doesn't affect it at all. Let's change it to just 8. There. You can see that A and B both updated. So yeah, I mean, you can feel free to play around with this. Send me any questions you might have. I'd be interested to see, what kind of totals people can get out of this thing. I played with it for a couple hours when I built it last year, just for fun. I mean, I'm not a believer in moving average systems or anything, but let's see. Oh yeah, let's see what you can do. I'll just mention some other functionality quickly before I go and demo my biggest one. So I think you can do things like 2 times 3, to put that in there 3 times, and then you can have the number 10, and then you can have the number 12. So just to check, we'll make sure that's the same. 2, 2, 2, 10, 12. Yeah, so you can see that I've incorporated a little bit of shorthand that you can put in there. Let's see what else. Let's see. Let's try 10 times 6 versus 6 times 2. There. So that's the number 10 6 times versus the number 6 2 times. So I'll go ahead and show you one of the systems that I got to be very consistent and had a pretty decent grand total. So there's two parts to it. I'm going to put them in D and E and then compare them in F. So there's the D part. I'll show you what's in there. So you can see the number 4 is in there, whatever, 5 times. You got 10 is in there once, 12 is in there a bunch of times, a whole bunch of times. Number 14 and then 16. And then in the B team, got a few numbers. 18 3 times and 22 times. So here in F I'll do D versus E. D versus E. And so you can see the grand total there in F, minus 4,800 points with only 3 years not being consistent. And the thing that matters most, it's not really the totals in the years that matter a lot. The thing that would matter the most, if you can, I mean, I didn't record them, but I found a couple of systems that I was able to make red for, at least all one color, for a good 20-25 years straight. So I don't know, I think I had one that went from like 1985 until all the way through 2017, and it was all the same color, and then 2018 hit and it was the other color. So I mean, that tells me you know, that system's just not reliable, which is why I haven't used any of this to play the stock market. I'm not a believer in it. But if somebody can make money on it, I say go for it. If you feel that this is for you, more power to you. But yeah, I've made systems in here. I think I reached the highest grand total I reached, I think, was like 5,400. I don't know exactly which data set that was on. It was something, I think it might have been from 1985 until December of 2018, which I got 5,400 on. But yeah, so I'd like, if somebody wants to play around with this and kind of show me what you get, that'd be kind of neat. Like to see what you guys do with it. Yeah, I'll get back and we'll wrap it up.
Now a little bit on why moving average systems shouldn't be used to play the stock market. Think about all the factors that influence the stock market. Interest rates, elections, political turmoil, trade tensions, job numbers, earnings reports, war, disease, climate. The only time there's any correlation between the past price of a stock and the future price of a stock is when there's a huge influx in buying or selling orders in a short period of time, which triggers algorithms to follow the trend. With the exception of that circumstance, which usually happens on the order of milliseconds, past stock data cannot be used to predict future stock data. You can spend all the time in the world trying to find the perfect moving average system for your data set, but all you'll have done is tailored your system to fit that data set. And once the new data comes, it'll be crippled. The best thing you can do is avoid using moving average systems altogether. But if you're set on using them, make sure your system is a simple one to increase the chances that it'll be able to make money in the future. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like these.